Hi there, my name's Cathi Barker from Software Solutions, and we're having a look at Microsoft Outlook and some of the tips and tricks that I think are really cool in Outlook. First of all, I want to now look at my inbox. Now in my inbox, I can see that 3 emails have got a sort of a blue bar on the left-hand side, this here, and also appear blue in terms of their subjects. Those emails, those 3 out of the 6 items, and that tells me down here in the lower left, out of the 6 items I have in my inbox, 3 of them are unread. So that's in the bottom left corner of your status bar. But also you can tell they're unread because 3 of them have got a blue hue to them. Now when it comes to marking an email as read or unread, you can actually click that blue border and that marks it as unread, or read, sorry, and that marks it as unread. Another option you've got, for example, is Control U, marks it as unread, and Control Enter marks it as read. So I've just marked this first email as read, but if I want to turn around and mark it as unread, Control U and Control Enter is read, and Control U is unread. If you're not into shortcut keys, because those are handy if you are, then you can just right click and you can mark an email as read, and you can right click and mark an email as unread. So that's another way to do it as well. Okay. Now, when it comes to printing an email, I'm just going to go Control P. You sometimes get a lot more than you want to print. And so what I often do is I edit an email and I strip out the stuff I don't need, print what I do need, and then close it without saving. Let me show you. So if I want to print, where's something that's got a bit of length to it? I could probably go with Karen. Okay, so if I go Control P, there's a lot here, 3 pages, and maybe I just want to print just a few things. So I'm going to go and double click the email. I'm going to go to Actions and I'm going to go Edit the message. If I then go here, I can select some info like this here, and I can delete that because I don't need to print that. And I don't need to print that. And I don't need to print, say, that. And that, I'm just cutting out what I don't want. And so I'm really just keeping the relevant bits. And really that's all I want to print. So I go Control P and I print the email. Once I've printed the email, I go back and I close the email, X in the top right corner, and it says, do you want to save? No, I don't want to save the changes. And it puts it back to how it originally was. So sometimes when we go to print an email, it gives us about 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pages, and really what we want to print is just a portion of it. And we can't print the selection like we do with Excel. So I go and double click the email, I go into Actions and I edit the email, strip out what I don't want, quickly print what I do want, and then close the email without saving so that everything goes back to normal. So that's handy. Now, when you do receive an email, you may notice on the right-hand side, you can reply and reply all without having to use these buttons at the top here. And what I really like also are these reactions. Sometimes when I get an email, I just want to send a thumbs up. And you've even got different colored thumbs if you want to go down that road. So there's a thumbs up, there's a heart, there's a party, there's a laughing face, there's a shocked face. I think that's shocked. And then there's a sad face. So you don't have to reply to an email. Sometimes all I do is send a reaction and just say thumbs up, that's great, that's all I needed to know. But sometimes we want to reply, and sometimes we want to reply all. Now if you go reply all, everybody in the to and the CC will all get a message. Please be prudent with using the reply all. You don't need to reply to everybody and say thanks. You just need to reply to the person who sent you the email. So be very vigilant about the reply all. In this case, it would send it to SSPC2, 7, and myself. 3 people, it would reply to all of them. And forward is when it's really not for you. You want to forward this email on to somebody else who's probably better at replying or resolving that issue. So use the reply all. And I quite like the Teams button. There's a lot of integration with Teams now. I can actually share this email with a certain team that I have in Microsoft Teams. and it'll put that email into the chat. And then everybody will be able to chat about it and see their email without having to forward it to everybody's inbox. So maybe it's an email from a sponsor saying thank you, and I want the whole team to see that. So rather than forward that email to the whole team, I will just share that email in a chat with a specific team and say, look, we just got to thank you from one of our sponsors. You can also use the Teams button, as you can see here, to schedule a meeting with people, in this case, whoever sent it to you. So there's a lot of integration with Microsoft Teams as well. So think about that. Now, when it comes to replying, what I also like, and they probably need to add that to here, if I go into more actions they have, is meeting. When I reply to an email, sometimes I'll reply with a meeting, which means that if I receive an email saying, Cathi, have you got any time on Friday after 2? I'll reply with a meeting saying, yes, I'll see you at 2:30. That'll mean that it'll automatically put it in my calendar and I don't need to remember to put it in my calendar. And the person who receives the email will simply have to accept or decline or tentatively accept, and it'll automatically go into their calendar and send me a response. So that saves a lot of, yes, I'll see you on Friday at 2:30, then I've got to go to my calendar, I've got to add it to my calendar, they've got to go to their calendar, add it to their calendar. This takes all that out. You just reply with a meeting, goes into your calendar, they accept it, goes into their calendar. Chances of forgetting the meeting are therefore minimized. A really good option, reply with a meeting. The other thing we've got is the ability to delete an email. So that's your delete button up here, or you could just hit the delete key. And of course, when you delete something, and there's a little delete button here as well, when you delete something, it goes to the deleted items folder. Now, if you can't see your deleted items folder, you need to be in your folders view. So click your folders button on the navigation options, and you'll see your deleted items folder. Anything that's deleted, you can then drag out of that folder and put it back in the inbox because you didn't mean to delete it. But if the reason that you deleted an email was to free up some space and get rid of stuff permanently, then hold the shift key as you press the delete key. If you go shift delete, let me just do that to say this one, shift delete, this will permanently delete this email and bypass the deleted items folder. So that's if I definitely know it's junk and I don't want it or I don't need to keep it, then I will permanently delete it with a shift delete. But if I just use the normal delete, it'll go to my deleted items folder, which means I can get it back. Unless you've gone into file and you've gone into options, and under advanced, you've told Outlook to empty the deleted items folder whenever you exit Outlook. I have that turned on because if it's in my deleted items folder, I don't want it. And so it'll empty it when I exit. You might find that a little bit scary, and so don't tick that if you do. So I'll just go cancel and leave that as is. Okay. Besides deleting emails, you can also archive emails. So if I feel like this really needs to be archived and put away rather than deleted, we've got an archive button here. And if you click the archive button, it literally ends up in this archive folder here. But it's a way of freeing up your inbox and archiving it away rather than deleting it. You really want to try and keep your inbox as not full. If your inbox is teeming with emails, thousands of emails, it really makes it difficult to find your emails and manage your emails. I actually like to, when I've dealt with something, I like to store it away in a folder. So under my inbox, you can see there's a little chevron here. Under my inbox, I've actually created a number of folders, and I file emails away by company. That's how I work. And anybody that isn't really a major client or falling into its own folder yet will go into a folder called Other. And once I start establishing quite a powerful relationship with that company, I'll make a folder and I'll start filing it away in there. So you can easily right click your inbox and you can create new folders, new folder there. You can call it whatever you want to call it, and then just drag the email into that folder and file it away. And that way you keep your inbox tidy, good time management. Okay. Now the other thing, of course, is when you open up an email, maybe that you sent. Let me go to my sent items. If I open up an email that I sent and I think, oh, I want to recall that, or maybe they've rung me and said, we never got it. I'll double click an email. I'll go to actions. Now, actions is where I went to edit an email because I only wanted to print a little bit and then I close it without saving. But actions also lets you recall a message. And that is if you sent a message and go, oh, I forgot to add the attachment or I forgot to say something, recall it, but you have to be really quick because if that person's already seen it in their inbox and opened it, you can't recall it. So be quick off the mark. And if it's an email to an outsider, you probably can't recall it because if you can imagine if you were able to reach into servers and pull emails back, what a virus could do with that sort of information. So recalling, try it, might have limited success. Resend is when they said they didn't get it. So I'll resend the message. But if I want to prove a point that I really did send that message to them, then I'll actually forward it. Because if I forward it, it says what day and time I originally sent them that message. But if that's irrelevant, then I can just resend the message because it's going to my boss or something like that. So there's a few actions in there that are quite useful as well. Yeah. That's probably enough for this video. Come back for the next video. Please like or subscribe. Let me know whether I'm on the right track. Come back to the next video. Let's have a look at attachments and things like that. See you soon. Bye.